Hello there, Vic Benedict here. We're playing Ninja Gaiden 2 on the Series X, and this is my Mission Mode Master Ninja Difficulty Gaiden walkthrough. This is Mission 17 of 24. It is also Survival Mission 1 of 8, and it is with the True Dragon Sword. So welcome to the part of the walkthrough devoted to the survival missions. As I mentioned before, survival missions are not difficulty specific, so you cannot select any difficulty. And I think the difficulty is on normal. And when you look in your inventory, you won't find anything because these are endurance waves and you don't get any healing items. So conventional wisdom on these is that you never want to absorb blue or red essence just because it's a precious commodity and you only get one use of the Nimpo anyway. And our goal here, well, there are several tiers for getting different medals on these, but we're going after the highest medal, which is getting 2 million plus karma score. And to do that, throughout the course of this, you'll have to take advantage of the karma burst system. So what this is that when you kill enemies with kills that are not UTs or OTs or kills from Nimpo or things like that, you'll get the opportunity to get green essence. And green essence is a karma multiplier that grants you 30 seconds for each green essence that you get, and it tops off at 5. So when you're doing this, it's up to the whim of the game pretty much, because sometimes the first enemy you kill will just give you green, and you'll get greens quite a bit. Other times the game will be extremely stingy about it. So I would recommend that if you don't get up to the 5 times multiplier by the end of like the first wave, the best idea is probably just to reset. And you don't want to be playing online because of the load times. They're drastically longer. So make sure you play offline. You can still log into Xbox Live and it will save all your medals and everything, but just don't play online because it will take a tremendously long time to load back into the game. And there's nothing worse than doing these missions and like resetting out of them and trying to get back into them and having to endure extremely long waits. But you don't have to if you play offline. So each of these weapons, they have their own set of enemies, so that you're always going to have the same enemies with each weapon. So you'll quickly get accustomed to what enemies you'll be fighting. And the thing about the since this is a score rush essentially, you'll want to be making sure that you avoid using your weapon's UT if possible. I mean, feel free to use it. I'm not saying you can't, but you want to take full advantage of the windmill shuriken's UT. Now, it has a big downside to using the windmill shuriken, which is that it doesn't have iframes when you cast it. Enemies can block it, and it's extremely frustrating when you do throw a windmill shuriken and enemies interrupt you and you can't get it off. But the reason you would want to be using the windmill shuriken is because it's an instant UT. It doesn't take but a second to cast it, and since you're always vying for time, if you're using your weapon's UT, that UT has a long animation process, and that takes up a lot of time, and that will drain the time that you have access to your karma burst. There's only, I think, one exception to a weapon's UT that's quick, which would be the scythe, because that's just as quick as a windmill shuriken UT. But all the other 7 weapons, you want to try to avoid using those UTs. I mean, avoid them. Take that with a grain of salt. Just feel free to use them, because they are effective, and you do have wonderful iframes with them. It's just that, like with a weapon like the True Dragon Sword, its UT is really long. And what I like to do with the Windmill Shuriken is wind path off a nearby enemy and get my on landing so that I'm coming off with at least a few iframes. And then I like to cast the Windmill Shuriken that way. But again, there's no healing items here, so you'll have to depend on drops, and all damage that you receive is permanent. There's no getting health regeneration in between waves. And another terrific move to do is the guillotine throw, because you have iframes with that, and it's a quick kill, and it's the reason it's quick on some of the lesser enemies as well is because, you know, we're not playing on a high difficulty here. It's just standard difficulty, and one or two guillotine throws will kill an enemy. If you throw them into a solid surface, it's usually just one guillotine throw that you need to do, and that constitutes a standard kill, and that could potentially give you green essence that you need. So again, never charge off red, blue, or green essence. Now on these waves here, these are waves that are designed to be sort of lulls in the middle of the battle, give you the chance to recover. So what I like to do here, and if you don't get your combo multiplier off of these enemies, it's pretty rare. So what I like to do is I like to use the Windmill Shuriken on them, because you have infinite use of it, and hopefully by the time that you're cleared with this, you'll have your 5 times multiplier, and maybe they might even drop a red or you know, some blues for you. But do you see where it says the kill score? That number there is periodically absorbed into your karma. So at any given time, you might have more karma than you think, because my current karma is what, 1.83, like 1.8 million, so to speak. But I do have 15,000 that's going to be absorbed into it. So what the goal of these is, I mean, you can try to take these as far as you want to if you had a mind to, but for the purposes of this walkthrough, we're just going to get the 2 million, and then just, you know, play it out as much as we can, you know, because usually by the time I get to 2 million, I'm at the verge of death anyway. So, and it's kind of fitting that this mission is the first one, because it took me a long time just to be able to get a gold medal on the survivals. I was just not really understanding, you know, what I was doing wrong about it. And once you do start acquiring the gold medals, you'll start to soon see that they're all kind of samey in the fact that what you're required to do is kind of the same thing for all of the weapons. You know, you need to be utilizing the Windmill Shuriken, but the thing about it, and see, we already are at 2 million, so it doesn't matter if we get killed, and it don't matter. You know, just if you want to, you can just let yourself get killed, because once you get to 2 million, if that's all you're going for, and believe me, that's getting the 2 million on some of these is pretty damn difficult. But it took me a long time, like I said, just to get the medal on. I think this was the first one that I got the gold medal on, once I, you know, realized the utility of the Windmill Shuriken, and also how vital it is to have the karma burst as high as possible early on, because you do want to get this over as soon as possible, because these waves just get harder and harder. And a lot of the times too, like I would clear the first wave, and then I would proceed into the next couple of waves, and I wouldn't even have a karma burst much more than like 1 or 2, and I should have just reset, because it's more advantageous to just reset quickly and go back into the game, because with some small exception, you can't really control if the game is going to be stingy about giving you greens. Because sometimes it just flat out is, you know, and you know, you're not doing OTs and UTs, and you know how to get greens, right? But the game is still not handing them out. So if it's not handing them out, there's not much that you can do. I mean, you can try to get a high combo. I think what it is a combo that exceeds 20. You have a better chance of getting a green or a red or a blue as opposed to a yellow. But I'm not some technician that knows the ins and outs of the systems here. I'm just trying to get you through these 8 missions. So this has been the first survival mission, and they, as much as I said that they're kind of samey, it does depend on the weapon as well. Some weapons are just harder to work with, I think. Like the Gasarigama for me, you might be a wizard with it, but that was probably the hardest one that I was struggling with to get to 2 million on, or let alone just get through it and be able to save a little face about my performance, because it was pretty poor. But I still got it done, and I'll get you through these as best as I can, so that you can get all of the gold medals for survival, and hopefully that now that you've got this far, you'll be able to have cleared the first 16 missions as well, so you can get your achievement. So that has been the first survival mission. I will see you in the second one, and until then, please take care.